Hey guys, it's Seth Riley here from the White Hat Mastermind Show, and in the last video I actually showed you how to create a fully responsive WordPress website using the X theme. And so moving forward, I know the last video was actually quite long, and the reason for that was pretty good because we were designing a website. And you know, if you recall, I actually helped you create this website. And from here, what I wanted to do next is basically just show you how to create unique images for your blog. Now you can use the tool that I'm going to show you how to use for your blog posts in the future. Every time you create a blog post and you need a featured image, it's going to be very easy for you to go ahead and just create simple, quick images that are professional, look good, and doesn't require Photoshop to basically get the job done. So I'm going to go ahead and replace this image on the home page. Also this image, and then down here I'm gonna also show you how to replace maybe a bigger image like a backdrop here, okay, behind this red and blue. So the name of the tool is actually PicMonkey, and PicMonkey is an excellent tool. It's not super high-tech looking, but actually what you can do with it is some pretty cool stuff. You can create quick logos, you know, using transparent backgrounds, PNG photos. You can also use non-transparent backgrounds, and I'm basically just going to show you how to do that here. And so the objective is to continue to work on this website and just kind of walk you through this series and really show you guys how to set up a fully responsive website that has a community and forums set up on it, as well as teaching you guys about you know, using images on your WordPress blog, because really, you know, one of the biggest mistakes beginners use when they are setting up a WordPress website is they just will pick images off the internet, maybe that are copyright or not, even if they're not, but they'll upload them to their WordPress site and then they'll just resize them using the WordPress editor. And this is going to cause, you know, heavy loading on your website. So it's important to always remember when you're creating a website that you want to keep it optimized as much as possible, okay? And one of the biggest sources that's going to take up the most memory and RAM on your site is going to be images, okay? So throughout this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create images, and then, you know, not only am I going to teach you how to make them really fast, I mean, you could probably do them in, you know, just a few minutes. You create this 575 by 575 picture. But I'm also going to show you how to compress them, compress the file, and actually optimize the file so it'll comply with Google Speed Insights, okay? And so we're just going to go ahead and jump right into it. The tool is actually PicMonkey. So if you just go to PicMonkey.com, it's going to bring you to this page. And from here, basically, all you have to do, if you don't have an account, you just need to sign up for an account, okay? Or if you do have an account, just go ahead and sign in. Now, PicMonkey is free at first, and it gives you a lot of features, but if you want some more of the advanced features such as backdrops and patterns and stuff like that to create really cool images, you need to pay $5 a month for PicMonkey. Alternatively, you can use Canva, which is going to cost you around $1 a photo. Canva looks a little nicer maybe with a little bit more drag and drop, but I've actually grown fond of PicMonkey because just because you can create logos as well and not just featured images. Now granted, they're not going to be Photoshop quality logos, but they're good enough to get started, and that's what I'm teaching you guys how to do, is just get started as quickly as possible, and I'm teaching you the best practices along the way, okay? So one thing I'm going to do here is just, I'm going to close out this tab real fast, and then we can just basically hover over design here once you've logged into PicMonkey, and you can either select one of these dimensions here, or you can choose a custom dimension. Now if we go back over to my website here, and I'm going to go to view the site, you can see that this picture, this placeholder images that we used with the demo content on the X theme is 575 by 575. So one of the best ways to do this would just be to go back over to PicMonkey, hover over design, go to custom, and then you can just add those dimensions in here, 575 by 575, okay? Then just hit make it, okay? And now it's going to take you to the editor, where you can simply just go through the different tools here and just edit the page. You can basically just select all the different features that PicMonkey has to offer, okay? So the first thing we're going to want to do is probably just stay at the top here. And you don't really need to crop your image, but you could if you needed to, okay? Because we know our dimensions. But if you don't know your dimensions and you find out later what the dimensions are, you can always crop it here. Okay, so just keep that in mind. But we're going to keep the image dimensions the same right now. So the first thing we want to do is figure out whether we want it to be a transparent background or we want to add some color to this image. So what I'm going to do, I typically like to use blues or grays or reds often. So I'm going to start it out with maybe a little bit darker gray here, okay? Now you can always choose transparent just by selecting transparent. So if you were doing a logo, you could actually just create a transparent background, crop your transparent background, then enter text using the text features that PicMonkey has to offer. But right now we're going to go ahead and turn off transparent background, and we're going to make it a nice gray color, okay? And hit apply. So it won't save it until you hit apply for that specific feature that you're trying to add to the picture, okay? Now that we've added this to the picture, there's some different options here. You can rotate the image. Obviously, we don't need to do that because it's blank. You can also mess with the exposure. Some of these things we'll come back to later down the line as we create this image. But if we go to the next menu item, it will show you a lot of different effects that you can add to your image to just give it kind of, a different, unique feel to it. And then you can also fade this as much as you want, okay? I'm personally not going to use that specific effect. But what I want to do right now is scroll down to textures, okay? Because I want to add a background texture to this picture because it'll just really liven up the picture and really make it come to life. So one thing we have to keep in mind is, what our site looks like and maybe the background colors that we've already chosen to use with the website, because when you're creating images, you want to kind of color coordinate your images along with your website as best as you can, okay? And that's really going to help you to have a full put together design that's going to look really good, okay? And everybody is going to like it. Well, most people will anyways. Now, any one of these effects here, you can actually pull down the saturation to keep it that gray color that I liked, okay? And then you don't even have to have it that intense. You could actually lower the fade on it really easily just by dragging this to the right or left. Let's try that right there, and I'm going to go ahead and apply that effect. Now, as you can see, this image is actually coming to life a little bit. Now, what else would look good, on this website? We got to think about that. So, if you wanted to add an actual an overlay image inside this picture, all you'd have to do is go down to the butterfly here, click on that, and insert your own image. Just click your own, okay? And it's going to pull up your files, and just find an image that works good for you. All right, we'll drop that in there. Now we can click on the text, okay? And we can start adding some cool text in here. And there's a lot of different fonts that you can choose from. If you do use the free version, you can still create some really cool pictures, but you're going to lose a lot of your fonts that you could actually use. So I definitely want to stress, $5 a month for PicMonkey is extremely cheap, and you can't beat it for the price. Especially when it comes to adding images to your WordPress blog. It's really awesome. So basically what I'm doing here is just looking for a font that's going to go well with the theme of this picture. So I'm going to add this to the picture. Basically, I'm going to make like a profile card for myself just as an example here to show you what it would look like. So once you add this text in here, you can simply just drag and drop it. Also on the sides, you can pull it in to the right, make it 2 rows if you wanted to. You can see how easy that is to just kind of drag and position it the way you want. I'm going to drop this picture down a little bit. Now I'm going to add another text here and just put, you know, founder. It does show it in a different text, which is okay. And, you know, you don't want all your text to look identical, obviously. And then if you wanted to change the color of it, you can use this over here to do that as well, okay? Now, as you can see, this kind of formats it a little bit weird, so you just want to drag it and basically to where it looks correct. And then you can also center the text here, which really helps to bring it to life. And with the positioning also. So one thing I want to do here, I think the background is actually a little too much right now. What I want to do is just consider changing the background. And if you feel you made a mistake, you can actually kind of overlay the original background that we selected, and it'll just kind of overlay, you know, and it'll still shine through a little bit, but if you scroll down the fade, it'll actually take over the original background drop that we had here. So I think I'm going to go with this paper. I think that looks a little bit better. Okay. And I think I'm going to capitalize some of this stuff. What I'm going to do is actually make this text bigger, okay? And you can just drag right here and it'll actually resize it for you. And then, of course, do this as well. Okay, that looks a little bit better. Now it's starting to look a little bit better. Obviously, you know, creating an image it can be a little time consuming, especially if you don't know what you want. And in this situation, I really don't know what I want because I'm creating something from scratch. Now, if this was my original White Hat Mastermind website, I would have a pretty good idea of what I wanted to create. For instance, I would do a lot of branding of myself. So if we go back to my original site, you can see that I am actually making images, you know, with me in the pictures because I'm really trying to not only brand the name of the company, but also brand myself along with the name. And even if you scroll down here, I mean, you can just see that I already kind of have an idea of what I'm doing here. So as we create a website from scratch, as you create a website from scratch, you're gonna, be facing some times when you really have to put some thought and effort into, what kind of images you want to make on the site, and basically how you want people to view you and see you as. Because when they land on your website, that's going to be the first impression that they see of you. So you want to make sure that you really get your vision down solid before you start creating images, okay? Just keep that in mind. I hope that helps just a little bit. All right, that looks a lot better. Let's see here. I'm going to pull that down. Center this. Let's even make it bigger. All right, so we have our first image, all right? I'm not going to take all day on this image. So all you have to do is scroll up here and hit save. But let's say you wanted to add more to this and you don't really want these elements moving around. You don't want them to be separate. You can come up here and select combined right here, this icon, and it combines this whole image together. And then you can go and add more elements to it, or even add a different fading effect or something along those lines. It's completely up to you. I'm just gonna basically show you how to add images the best that I can. So we want to go up here and hit save the image, and just go ahead and name it something that is relevant to what you're creating. So in this particular instance, this would be like White Hat Mastermind Seth Riley, because I know this is a picture of me, okay? And then you want to go ahead and export it at the highest quality possible, and then just go ahead and hit save to my computer. And I always add images to my downloads in case I want to delete my downloads folder on my Mac. It just, you can get a lot of, when you're an internet marketer, you can actually really pile up a lot of different images and files on your computer. So it's good with the stuff that you consider that you might want to delete down the road, to keep them all in a same file or category, to where you can easily delete them and move them to the trash. Okay, so let me see here. What I'm going to do is open up another window and grab this tool. Okay, and as you can see, we came to this website. It's kraken.io/web interface, okay? Now, if you come to this website, you can actually optimize your images for free on this website. They do have a paid plan where you can actually get a WordPress plugin and install it on your WordPress website, but you don't necessarily have to do that, especially when you're starting out. If you're trying this out and you just want to see if it really optimizes images, then just come to this link, and I'll leave it in the resources below the video. But all you have to do is select, click this button right here, or simply drag and drop your file type in there. You want to find your image and just hit open, and it's going to import it in here. Now, as you can see, it crunched it really fast in probably about 2 seconds, and you actually saved 104 kilobytes, okay, on this image. So your savings was 44% on this image. That's how much you shrink this file, okay? Now, that's a really big deal, and it's not going to be really even noticeable to people that the quality has changed at all. This is one of the best image shrinkers or compressors that I've seen. It's really awesome. I've used a lot of them. I've used Image Optimizer plugin. I've used Smush It or Smash It or whatever, the plugin for WordPress, and this one by far exceeds all those easily. Okay, so once you go ahead and optimize all your images in here, you just want to hit download this file, and it's going to take you to a new window where you can just right click on that and save the image as whatever you want it to be saved as. In this case, I'm going to just put thumbnail or optimize at the end. That's a good one. So you know that this image is the optimized version of the other image that you created, okay? And then just add it to the same folder, okay, as your other image. And now we're going to scroll back over to the website, and I'm going to go ahead and insert that image here. So I'm just going to go ahead and add media, upload file, and I can simply, if you see it, and if you have Chrome, it'll display all your recent downloads right here in a bar at the bottom. You can just simply drag and drop it right here into WordPress, and it'll upload it for you, okay? And then what you want to do is grab that URL here because it's hosted on this domain. You don't want to insert it anywhere because we're using image links right now for this particular installation, if you will. So I'm going to open up a new tab. And pull up the website on a different tab. So we need to find out where this image placeholder is here. So we're going to go back over to the editor, scroll to the very top, and look for it. As you can see, it's right here. This is a image shortcode. You can see image class, MBN, and then the source is right here. And you can see it says 575 by 575 right there. So we know that we want to go ahead and replace this image with the one that we created, okay? Now, obviously, the image URL is going to be a little bit longer here, depending on, you know, the name of your domain or whatever, or what you choose to call it. So don't even worry about that. But once we insert that, just go ahead and update the page, and then come back over to the home page of your website that you're creating. And as you can see, we created a actual image for the home page here, and it replaced the placeholder images that X had with the demo content. Now I'm going to go ahead and replace this image as well. Obviously, I really want to show you guys how to use this to its full potential. You know, I know not everybody wants to watch through this whole entire video, but you know, this is for the serious people that really want to learn, you know, how to get a WordPress website set up and to do it the right way. Okay. So we're going to go back over to PicMonkey, and we're going to create a new image. And to do that, there's a little button up here on the right. You just want to hit the X button, and we're just going to go ahead and start over. Go to Design, hit Customize, and it already saved your previous dimensions in here, as you can see, because it placed a cookie on your web browser, okay? And then just go to hit Make It, okay? I'm going to try to get through this as fast as humanly possible for you guys. I know that this can be time-consuming, okay? So I apologize for that. So we'll create an image with a little more blue. That sounds good to me. And then we just hit apply the color to the backdrop. And I'm going to scroll down to borders here. We could actually add a nice little border to this, or maybe a drop shadow. All you have to do is just click through here and it'll display the different options, okay? If you just scroll down to, like I said, the little butterfly, you can actually insert all these different elements in here. If you wanted to add hearts, you can just simply add that to the picture and it'll insert it for you. So let's just say I wanted to add this heart. You just click on it and it'll just bring it right here. We don't want this. We're just going to hit the delete right here. Now, if you're a girl, obviously, you might want to add some hearts, or if it's Valentine's Day, I have no problem with that. But let's add maybe a couple stars or something, you know. There's one down here that I really like. It's the sparkling stars. So if you click on it and hover over any of these, it's just going to add, basically, just looks like a galaxy on your page, you know. It's really cool looking. I'm actually going to delete these stars because they really just, they don't work. And if you grab this little toggle right here, you can just spin it however you want it. So we're just going to make it go backwards so it's not identical to the other stars that we added. Okay, that looks pretty good, right, for an image. Now we could add some text to it. The ones I really like to use are Arial and Arial Bold. So if you just click on Arial and then just hit add text, you can add whatever you want. Let's think here. To resize it, you can also just pull it from the bottom as well. That's a good way to resize the image. And then I'm just going to bolden the marketing and leave internet the way it is. What I'm going to do is actually just create one row here and then hit center and make it bigger so it's a little more readable. Alright, so as you can see, we created another image here, and it was really simple. It took me a few minutes to do, right? So we just can scroll up here and hit combined, and then go ahead and hit save, and then just go ahead and name this, okay? And export it at the highest quality possible. Then hit save to my computer. And once you save it to your computer, you want to come back over here to Kraken and just go ahead and add your image. Now, as you can see, it compressed it really fast. We actually saved 54, almost 55% savings on this, the file size, guys. That's huge. So if we click on the image, you can see that the image quality really hasn't been changed at all. And then just go ahead and double click on that and hit save image as. And you know, make sure you put thumbnail or optimized or something like that. Something that puts it apart from the original image. And we're going to go back over to the website here and hit add media and upload. And you can just simply drag it and drop it here. Grab the URL link here. Go to the WordPress editor, scroll down, find where that placeholder image was. Okay, so as you can see, here is the shortcode for that specific one. And you can tell by looking at the dimensions here, okay? And we're just going to go ahead and insert it. Hit update. Go back over to your main page and refresh. And scroll down. And as you can see, we added another image here. Just for the sake of time, I don't think I'm going to add a third image here to the background. But, you know, as you can see, PicMonkey is really good at creating fast images for your website. And they're fairly good. I mean, they're semi-generic, but they're really good enough for today's standards. And I know PicMonkey is working on adding a lot more features. And as you actually learn how to use PicMonkey, you're going to be able to create really good designs, okay, just with PicMonkey alone. And like I said, you can use the transparent feature if you click on this icon at the top in Canvas color, and you can actually create a simple logo very fast. If you needed a logo for your website, all you'd have to do is scroll down, we'll select transparent, hit apply. You know, I'll just show you how to do it really fast. And then you just want to crop it and then hit apply, and then go down to text and then add text, and then just hit, you know, whatever the name of your website is. So basically that quick, I created a simple generic logo for my website literally in about 30 seconds, guys. So, you know, you can always add elements or icons to a logo if that's what you're trying to create for your website. And you can do that just by inserting your own logo image, or I'm sorry, your own icon image to place beside your logo. But you can see here the power of using PicMonkey and how fast you can get a website set up with images and everything, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and close out the PicMonkey tab. And also this tab. And then, you know, I'm going to come back over to the main website. And, you know, I just wanted to thank you for watching this tutorial. It really means a lot to me that you guys take the time to watch these tutorials. Remember, I'm teaching you guys this stuff through pure experience and what I know, and, you know, how I've learned to use WordPress and market online. So, you know, by the end of this series, this tutorial is coming to an end. So by the end of this series, you know, you're going to learn a lot, okay? You're going to learn about setting up a responsive website, how to set up forums. Obviously, I just showed you how to insert images into, you know, to replace your demo content from the X theme. You know, I'm teaching how to use the X theme as well. So make sure you guys pay attention to these tutorials. They're really going to teach you a lot about WordPress and setting up a website online, and just really setting up a professional site that people are going to enjoy coming to, and that's really going to represent you and your brand very professionally, and I want you to keep that in mind and think of the end result that you're getting from watching these tutorials. So make sure you guys come back next week. Every Thursday, I post a new tutorial, and this series is about setting up a fully responsive website with WordPress and all the other gadgets I told you about. So thank you so much for watching this tutorial, and make sure you guys come back next week. One last thing before you go. If you like this show, I would love to hear about it. So, post a comment below the video on my blog, or, you could always go over to iTunes and leave a review for me. That really helps me to get a lot of exposure for my website and my podcast. So thank you so much for watching this tutorial, and have a great day, guys. Take care.